countdown to the last comic shop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, break out the M80s. It is now time for more of the Last Comic Shop Podcast.
That's a bombast.
That is right. We are opening up our shopping podcast. That always throws me when you say podcast because it's shop. Anyways,
Throwing them already.
we are opening the shop up to newbies. We've got stacks of soda in the background.
There you go. We're keeping the lights on for the oldies that enjoy those things that are timeless, whether it's fair amount of sugar or aspartame or dumbass part of me, whatever it is.
Either if you're going to the pharmacy or if you're going to the local 7-Eleven for the biggest gulp, 108 ounces of freedom, we're bringing it to you live and in style with our greatest matchup yet. In our biggest year yet. Remember, this is the biggest year ever for this Last Comic Shop podcast.
That's true, Ethan.
Remember.
I am the host with the most, Andy Larson, and I'm joined by my wonderful brother, Ethan Larson, who is coming back for a third straight year here with my co-hosts, J.A. Scott and Chad Smith, for another Captain America comic book. That's right. Not only that, though, but Ethan, we've got another fantastic tournament all for our Last Comic Shop fans, right? What's on the agenda this year?
Well, first, this whole tradition started with eating chicken and reading comics, and then there was DoorDashing chicken to people from
That's
across
right.
the country.
Ethan knows how to celebrate America. He kicked it off right by sending us chicken.
Then we took all the chicken shops. We ranked them. It was great. Go back.
So
All the episodes are evergreen. Then we had burgers and Winter Soldier. And then we said, what's more American than burgers than obesity and diabetes? Because we're bringing it straight to you, folks. Okay, we're taking all those sugary concoctions and we're battling it out to find out who is in the final four of
The Last Soda Shop! That's right. We're on brand again this year, folks. We've got 16 of the greatest sugary drinks out there, and we're going to put them head-to-head. We're going to break it down to a final four, which we're then going to put out on our social media so that all of you can do your patriotic duty in voting for the eventual winner. Yes, that's right.
I should note that I am going with the zero sugar option most of the time because of the diabetes and the obesity. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but whether or not you vote for the zero sugar version or the regular version or the aspartame version or whatever, we just hope that you vote.
That's right. We know you like Ike, but what do you like with ice?
Yeah,
What's your drink?
that's right. Before we get into the sodas, right? We all agree that like soda is better cold, right? It's kind of like beer. Like warm soda is kind of the worst.
Is it warm soda or is it cold flat soda? I think I'd take warm fizzy soda
Yeah.
over cold flat soda.
Oh, no, because the fizzy soda, when it's warm, it burns. All the bubbles burn.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. You can come back from a warm soda. There is a thing called ice cubes. You can't come back from a flat soda. There's no...
Yeah, there's a thing called depression.
All right. We got to eventually get to the Captain America book, which is Captain America / Batman or Batman / Captain America. Regardless, got to get to this tournament, guys. We got the 16 teams. So you guys ready? With the first round, it is the 2-7 matchup of 7-Up / Sprite. That's coming in at a number 2 versus the number 7 of RC Cola. That's right. For all of you hipsters out there that enjoy a cola that is very hard to find. Don't think I've ever had an RC Cola, the Royal Crown.
It's just your basic bargain soda that has a better PR campaign. It's essentially the Pabst Blue Ribbon
There you go.
of colas.
So you're talking it's like Sam's Club Cola? Is that what we're talking about here?
It's like, yeah, you know how the Juggalos go crazy for Faygo? It's the same thing.
I see.
7
No,
Up
it's straight
/
trash. Come on. You know, Sprite and 7-Up. as everyone knows, has no caffeine. So you can drink
There
it
you
any
go.
time of day and you still go to bed at night.
Now we got the Starry soda, which was a rebrand of a rebrand.
I think it was Slice.
Yeah, Slice, then Sierra Mist.
Sierra Mist. That was
Ah,
nuts. They're all bad. But but can we just take that off and just use Sprite and 7-Up and don't worry about Pepsi's bastard version?
Because nobody can tell the difference between 7-Up and Sprite anyway.
That is true. That is
Like,
very
my son
true.
says Starry's a little bit fizzier. I just think it's goofy.
No, but there's like that nice, crisp, clean taste of a good 7-Up. Plus, if it hadn't been for 7-Up, I wouldn't have one of my favorite drinks to order at a real true mixer, and that is a 7 and 7. I really do enjoy a 7 and 7. So my vote is for 7-Up. Marketing be damned on RC Cola.
Yeah, and also if you ever need to take the paint off your car, you can get the Sprite from McDonald's. This tastes like the static fuzz that used to be on TV stations back in the day. But yeah, give me Sprite.
Yeah, Jay, I don't have a good argument to stand up for RC Cola. It's got to be 7-Up Sprite.
There we go. Unanimous. It's going
It
through.
is unanimous. So the number 2 7-Up Sprite is moving on. Going over to the other 2-7 matchup, we've got root beer coming in at number 2, the solid favorite. Many a float been made out of it, and it's going up against a dark horse, but potentially one that the hipsters might enjoy, sarsaparilla. If you're in the olden west and you want a sarsaparillas, it's going to, again, and I think both of these drinks come from pretty much the same thing, the sassafras root. Or before we get to the voting, interesting little side note for all those folks out there, the actual root that root beer is made out of, a carcinogen. Actually, any root beer you drink has absolutely no sarsaparilla root in it. That is like drinking asbestos. We're going to start off with JA because he was the one that suggested sarsaparilla based on a regional drink in his area.
Yes, Sarsi, which is, I guess you could say it's sort of the Philippine equivalent of root beer or sarsaparilla. It's very sweet. Like a lot of things in the Philippines, they like their sugary drinks.
Yeah, I haven't had that one, so I'm going to say root beer. Never had a Starcy float.
Ethan?
I lost Andrew when he started this. I have no idea what sarsaparilla is. I've never heard of it in my life until this very conversation. So what do you mean, bark says bite? Gotta go root beer.
Yes. And the best root beer in America that you can get a Sprecher root beer out of Wisconsin, made from real Wisconsin honey. Man, that stuff is good. It used to be a brewery. They started selling root beer for the kids, and that became their number one bestseller. So root beer is moving on to the next round.
What all is root beer? How
That's
is
what
root
I'm saying.
beer?
Nobody actually has drank root beer in like 100 years. It's all just like what we think it is. It's a facsimile of a facsimile of a thing.
They just use since the 60s, not 100 years, since the 60s when it was banned.
But there was no big sarsaparilla to keep it around and put Joe Camels on it and make it cool for the kids.
That's right. So moving on to the 3-6 matchup, and this one, boy, I'm pulling for a dark horse in this one. We've got the number 3 of Mountain Dew, Do the Do, versus the number 6 of Squirt. And I'm not trying to sell it, but that wonderful grapefruit flavored soda, which I used to have a t-shirt of, man, I love me some Squirt. That's going all the way, baby. Going away to the Final Four if I have my way. Squirt.
So caveat, is Fresca considered a Squirt variant?
I think we could allow Fresca in there.
It's the grapefruit, right? That's what makes Squirt.
It's your grapefruit flavored sodas.
And if you're gonna throw in my boy Fresca, you gotta give me a line. I'm ready to join the bridge game. I'm ready to play canasta. Let's go Squirt.
So here's a little bit of fun facts about Squirt. In 1983, Diet Squirt, which was a thing, was the first soda to be flavored with aspartame.
Ooh. Look at you throwing out.
Interesting.
Are you voting for it though? Or are you the Code Red baby over there?
No, I'm going with Squirt, of course.
So I was going to say, before you guys finish this up, I have to chide you a little bit because Squirt is not grapefruit flavored. It's grandma flavored. Every grandma
like Fresca
has that those 3 cans of squirt in the fridge from Lord knows how long. Listen, if you're going to pick up a soda, you're not picking it up because you're making good decisions with your life. Mountain Dew is the way to go. The Baja Blast, the Code Reds, high flying, rootin' tootin' Mountain Dew.
There was a magical summer when they came out with the Mountain Dew with the real pure cane sugar, and they put the Snuffy Smith guy back on the label, and I was like, all right, no, we're not kidding around, man.
I see you, Dew. I see you.
I see how you doing, Dew. But still, Squirt's moving on. Dark Horse knocking off Mountain Dew, moving on to the next round with 3 votes. On the other side of the 3-6 matchup, we've got the Dr. Pepper. That's right, the only soft drink on our list that has his doctorate, versus the always reliable cherry soda. That's right, the cherry flavored sodas of the world. So your cheer wines, your Fanta cherries, your Big Red. I think Big Red is
that's a cinnamon gum.
Now, does this also include like the homemade cherry Cokes where you get the actual cherry syrup and then they add the Coke and the fizziness?
Sure, why not?
Like
it's cherry flavored soda. So I guess you could put cherry Coke in here if you want to defeat Dr. Pepper with a cherry Coke. Chad, you're going to start us off. What do you say?
As much as I love cherry Coke, nothing beats Dr. Pepper. Andy and I have a mutual friend named Nate who lives and is fueled solely on Dr. Pepper and rage. And
now, the problem I have with Dr. Pepper is arguably the best drink to make when you're in college was the flaming Dr. Pepper, but it doesn't have any Dr. Pepper in it.
That's true. That's true.
It's got the amaretto, it's got the rum, it's got the beer. Where's the Dr. Pepper? No,
listen,
no, sir,
Dr. Pepper.
No. If the best version of Dr. Pepper is one that doesn't include Dr. Pepper, then there's you got to worry about it a bit.
Nah, this is the KFC of sodas. It's got those 11 herbs and spices. Nobody knows what it is, but it's put together by a doctor. Damn it!
Listen,
Dr. Pepper needs to take this.
I'm gonna side with the cherry sodas just because first off, I do love cherry Coke. It is like by far probably my favorite soft drink out there. But also Cheerwine is really, really good if you've ever been down south. And to be honest, Dr. Pepper has some of the worst impersonators out there. Like Mr. Pibb didn't even get his doctorate. How dare he? I think the Walmart brand is called Dr. Thunder. Dr. Thunder? That sounds like a really bad supervillain. I'm sorry. Dr. Pepper may have the most interesting secret formula out there, but no, it's going to lose to the cherry. Ethan?
Well, you know what the best version of Dr. Pepper is? Dr. Pepper with cherry. So if you already have to add cherry to make Dr. Pepper better, then cherry automatically wins.
Yes. Cherry soda moving on despite Chad's impassion.
I was gonna say, I'm filling out the rest of this bracket under protest. You guys don't know nuance.
Oh, Lordy. All right, we're back. We're now at the 4-5s, which I've got to say are probably the most difficult of the first round. We're going with the 4-5 matchup of ginger ale, you know, that good old-fashioned drink that reminds you of Price is Right and being sick and laying on your couch, versus, I think it's a throwback to last year's Last Burger Shop when we said the burgers with flair. This is the craft sodas. That's right. Any and all craft. Your Joneses, your what are some other crap sodas?
Jones. Your Jones sodas.
J.A. specifically wanted the craft sodas on here, so he gets to vote first.
I wanted the craft sodas on here so we can just denounce them.
Wow.
as a bunch of hipster crap. They're usually over sugared or not sugared enough. They cost way too much money. They are often found in gentrifying locations in cities that have no business being, and people usually use them to make crap mixed drinks. If you're going to make a mixed drink, just go with ginger ale. It's been good enough for a lot of people for a lot of years.
I'm actually shocked by JA's rant on this craft soda, given how just overly pretentious he is and everything else in his life.
This
Shots
is true.
fired.
If it doesn't come on vinyl, J.A. ain't buying it. You're right. We thought that craft soda would be his bread and butter.
Hipster, I'm original. Sir. Original.
Original. You know, there's a certain clientele that drinks craft soda. It's like the people that love the craft beer, but like one level under. Like they, I'm going to put them in this category. They're either 14 years old and drank something on a dare, or this person that says, well, I denounce the corporate America of soda, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. I just want to drink a soda, damn it. I'm already making a bad choice in my life. I don't need to justify it by saying I'm going to support a small business by making a shitty decision in my life. And I'm going to cure my illness with a good glass of ginger ale.
Are you guys Canada Dry or Schweppes
Dry?
No, if you're going to drink ginger ale, there is only one choice. It is Byrne's. Byrne's got the bite. That's the good stuff. Man.
The Canada Dry is not too sweet. Anyway, yeah, I had a period of time in college where I romanced the Jones sodas, some of the fancier things, trying to be a hipster, but it wasn't real. It's got to be laying there with a blanket, some saltine crackers, and a nice cold ginger ale.
All right, ginger ale, moving on to the next round. Going over to the other 4-5 matchup, I think this could cause some civil wars here in America. It is the orange soda versus grape soda. Which flavor do you prefer? Do you like Orange Crush? Do you like Grape Crush? I'm going grape all the way. It's purple. I never understood it because when I was younger, all the grapes I ate were green. It should be green if it's grape.
No, I think if you can drink anything that's derived from grapes, you should be drinking wine. And that's either red or white, baby.
There you go.
Unless you're drinking rosé. No, I'm not even going to go there.
Are you sure craft sodas weren't for you, J.A.?
You might have to revote. I associate grape soda with being 10 years old and getting antibiotic that I couldn't chew. And so the only way that would make anything palatable was to drink it with what we had on hand, which was grape soda. So now every time I think about grape soda, I get that horrible medicine taste in my mouth. That's no good. So yeah, orange soda all the way, baby.
That's the saddest story I've ever heard. Yeah. I will say there's a chance you might find an orange soda in a vending machine somewhere. You're not finding grape out there. The orange all the way.
All right.
Chad has lost the will to live after his Dr. Pepper was bounced
Yeah,
early.
I can't believe that.
His bracket is busted.
Seriously.
Well, we're up at the top with the final two matchups of the first round. It is the big guns. We're talking about the two most popular sodas in the world. Number one, Pepsi versus a real dark horse, because I don't even consider it a soda, but I guess people thought it should be included. It's the carbonated water. That's right.
What is another name for carbonated water? Club soda.
No flavor, nor does it have the sugar, nor does it have anything in it. It's just, it's genuinely, it's seltzer water with flavor nowadays, but
Yeah,
it's very popular.
Can't make an egg cream with Pepsi.
You can't make an egg cream with eggs. Doesn't even make any sense.
And this will probably tip off the way that I'm voting, but you can actually get Liquid Death. The flavor water actually has 4 grams of sugar, so you get a little bit of kick of sugar while you're drinking carbonated water. But yes, any good millennial, I love me some carbonated water, baby. Like, I live on it. It's my go-to drink. I'm sorry, Pepsi. You were once my love. You were like my high school sweetheart. But now I have to be an adult. I have to grow up. I have to give away the sugary drinks, and I have to go carbonated water all the way. Number 8, let's go.
All right, Chad.
So I, too, when I was younger, really enjoyed Pepsi. I was a child in the 80s. Michael Jackson was lighting his hair on fire for Pepsi, and Madonna was doing sacrilegious things for Pepsi. All the cool stuff was happening for Pepsi. But for reasons I don't understand, I really enjoy fizzy water. And no one in my house does. And so it's wonderful. I can buy it. I know it's all for me. I don't have to share with anyone. It's kind of gross, but I love it.
You know what? I'm standing up for Pepsi. Pepsi was cool even after they changed the can. That's right. I enjoy the old school cans. Like they were white with like the red and blue logo on it, and that was it. Then they changed the cans to blue, and I was just like, I don't know what this is. And I never forgave them for changing the cans, but I still enjoy a Pepsi. It is probably the only soda I actually enjoy drinking warm, just simply because my grandma, that's all she had. She never put any of the sodas in the refrigerator, so all we had was warm Pepsi. So I got very used to drinking warm Pepsi. And I still drink it and think of my grandma. So warm Pepsi for the win.
Scratch Ethan's story. Your story's the saddest story I've ever heard. With your warm soda? Oh, God, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry the world did this to you.
So I, like everyone else, had my Pepsi back in the day. It was the cool thing to do. You get all those Pepsi points, you send away, they send you some crap t-shirt or a Harrier jump jet, or maybe not. You have to sue them. They forgot to put a little asterisk thing in the legalese at the end of the commercial. And then decades later, they had a commercial where basically the way to end protests is to drink a Pepsi. God, I mean, seriously, who is green-lighting these things? Horrible. Seltzer water all the way, baby. I'm going to make myself an egg cream.
Pepsi getting knocked off here. Wow. Crazy. Sparkling water moving on to the next round. Finally, on the other side, arguably the most popular soda in the entire world, Coke, Coca-Cola, however you want to say it, versus the number 8, which I've just got to say is probably the grossest name for a soda ever. It is cream soda. Cream soda has that same nasty pseudo-sexual connotation that the word moist. I don't know anybody that can say cream soda and then walk away with a straight face. You're not going, ugh. Anybody else gonna not vote for Coke?
Andy, this is the 4th of July show. Can you play a little bit of taps right now for our humble servant, the cream soda? Nobody knows exactly what you are, but you will always be with us.
It's one of those sodas where you get it once because you're like, oh, did I used to like cream soda? Was that a thing? And then you have it. You're like, yeah, no, I never liked it. And then you forget. And then 10 years later, you forget your experience. And it's one of those, you go back to the well every 10 to 15 years for that one drink. And then you're like, yeah, I'm glad I just bought one can and not the whole case.
There you go. And the Larson's weird uncle would come over with cream soda in his trunk and some methamphetamine. And they'd have weird picnics out there and wherever the hell he was and whatever.
Coke is moving on to the next round. It is now time to get to the next round. So we've got the matchup of 7-Up versus Squirt. Like it did with Mountain Dew, is it going to knock off 7-Up? Would you rather have lemon lime or nice grapefruit? Chad.
I'm going to say 7-Up suffers from being too accessible. You don't always see Squirt. And whenever you do see Squirt, it's like, Squirt. This is gross, but I like it. Squirt.
No, I'm going the opposite for the exact same reason. 7-Up Sprite, that's always the go-to if you don't want the caffeine and you're ordering at a fast food place. It's either Coke or Sprite, right? Or Diet Coke.
Yeah. And usually the Sprite option, you can press the side button and get soda water, which is even better. So I'm going to go Sprite by association.
And you just said you don't like the sound of cream soda. Well, what does Squirt sound like?
Squirt sounds like fun.
You don't say.
It sounds like a great time on a Saturday night.
Not if it follows Hershey.
No. I refuse to let you destroy Squirt and my visual interpretation of the wonderfulness of that yellow can with like that cool logo. It is one of the best logos in sodas. Squirt is moving on for me, so it is the first tie breaker. That's right. We're going to flip a coin and Chad gets to call it in the air.
In the spirit of the Hershey Squirts, tails.
It is heads. It is heads.
Yes.
So 7-Up Sprite is moving on to the
Sprite is 7-Up.
finals.
Obey your thirst, baby.
That was cool. I did love that old Cool Spot video game for the Genesis. That was the greatest.
Oh, that had the best music.
It really did.
It's
All
perfect.
right, moving on to the other matchup. Got Root Beer going up against the Giant Killer. That's right. The one that destroyed Dr. Pepper. That is Cherry Soda. So Root Beer, Cherry Soda. Oh boy. This is tough because I like both of them. But as I said earlier, Cherry Coke, arguably my favorite soft drink out there. So I'm voting Cherry Soda. Chad?
I don't care on this one.
Chad's voting RFK Jr. That's what he's voting. I'm gonna go cherry soda because I'm a Larson, so I like cherry sodas. They also are my favorite because Andrew and I are basically the same person. So
All right. Let's see if JA will force Chad's hand back into the ring. What are you voting for, sir?
Going root beer.
Oh,
Like
Chad?
myself a root beer
Oh.
float. A&W.
But
Ooh.
Chad, I want to try to sell you on something right now. Remember what I said? Go back in the way back. I said that one of the best versions of Dr. Pepper was cherry Dr. Pepper. So I'm bringing your lifeline back here. You can't get a Dr. Pepper root beer. You can get a cherry Dr. Pepper, and we can save America.
I'm right in Lipton Brisk.
All right. Cherry Soda is moving on to the final four. Okay, now we've got the next matchup of sparkling water versus orange soda. That's right. It's orange soda. If I lost my grape soda, orange soda is moving on because it's actually delicious. Unlike sparkling water, which I could just drink tap water and blow bubbles into it.
And you don't know what you're missing, bro. Got to go sparkling water. I want to see this out to the end. We got it. We have the Cinderella story here. This is the first 8 seed that's gone this far, so we got to let it go all the way to the final 4, baby. I can't let my people down.
So here's the problem I have with Fanta. Every so often, I have a craving for a Fanta. Once you have that one Fanta, you feel like you need to drink 5 or 6 things of water to cleanse your system from the Fanta.
You have the Fanta shame.
I need to exercise the demon.
Yeah, and even if you get like Fanta Zero, like you can still like taste it hours later for some god unknown reason. So
Oh,
wow.
it's so gross.
I'm
There
going
you
with
go.
the water.
You can get the lemon kind, and then you get the little squeezy lemon juice and put a little extra lemon in there. Oh, mwah.
So it's just watered down lemonade. Great. I give up with you guys. You're never going to sell me on this carbonated water, Jazz. We got the final matchup, which is Coke versus ginger ale. What are you drinking if your tummy is upset? Because I have heard that people do drink Coke when they're not feeling well too.
Wasn't it originally a medication? When it came with the cocaine?
That's right. It is true. It has such a myriad of uses. And as I said, Cherry Coke, still the best. Coke is a version of Cherry Coke. I'll vote for Coke all the way, baby.
Yeah, and it's the only soda that you can drink when your tummy aches and then pour it into your toilet and clean it. So, of course,
There you go.
I just
Did you
said,
hear about people clean their car engines with Coke?
Oh yeah, it helps if your battery terminals are going crusty.
That's all going in your stomachs. Enjoy. Plus, I don't want to piss off all of our Southern fans, all like 7 of them. So we gotta keep, that's any soda in the South is Coke. So
Yeah.
we can't eliminate all soda.
It's the default soda. I will say, when I was younger, I was a Pepsi kid, but as I've gotten older, I'm not as sweet as I used to be. I dare say I'm a little bit more bitter. I'm a lot more like Coke. Coke's taking the win.
All right. So that is our final 4, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 7-Up, Sprite, Cherry Soda, carbonated sparkling water, and Coke. Those will be your soft drinks that you can vote on in the last Soda Shop Challenge, which will be out on the social medias later this week. Coming up next, right after these commercial breaks, is our Captain America book, because we still do read comic books and talk about them. It's Captain America and Batman. Stay tuned.
I think that Dr. Pepper got done the dirty. There's no way the cherry soda should be higher than the Dr. Pepper.
I agree.
Hey, it's Mikey Wood, frequent Last Comic Shop guest and collector. And as a collector, I'm always in need of boards, bags, long boxes, and more to house all those comics. That's why I use promo code LCSPOD to get 10% off my orders at bcwsupplies.com. Not only does it get me a discount on BCW's already low prices, but I know using LCSPOD at checkout is another way I can show my support to the Last Comic Shop podcast and their continuing mission to bring fans together under that big comic book tent. So if you're in need of comic book supplies, head out to bcwsupplies.com and use promo code LCSPOD today. That's LCSPOD.
Hi, I'm Kevin DeCristofano.
And I'm Sean Flanagan.
And we are the Ninja Turtle Nerds, your weekly podcast covering the Ninja Turtle comic book series one issue at a time. Plus the video games, the cartoon show, the VHS tapes. If it's Ninja Turtles, we'll cover it. Ninja Turtle Nerds is available wherever you get your podcasts.
Woo! I got a bit of a sugar rush. Oh, now my head hurts.
Stop drinking all that Sarsi.
Can you get a Sarsi
so
float?
Of course you can get a Sarsi float.
Oh, perfect.
One thing you do want, we're cooking up this week in terms of comic book, Batman and Captain America. Who did this?
All right, so Batman and Captain America was a joint Marvel and DC production. It was released in 1996. It takes place through DC's Elseworlds, so non-canonical tales out of time here. But it was written and drawn by John Byrne, with Patricia Mulvihill on colors, and Jameson did the color separations.
Now, quick question, Chad. There were some other references in the book to some of the other people that worked on it or were influenced by it. I think in the epilogue, they referenced Roger Stern. I'm not super familiar with him. And then there was a full page in the Batcave right after Batman and Captain America met each other that also gave a shout out to, was it a particular artist? Did they actually draw that panel or what?
Yeah, so no, it was Dick Sprang is the man in question there. And you can tell throughout this book that John Byrne, this is a labor of love, shouting out the creators of these characters. You'll see notes and streets and buildings named after people like Joe Simon, who created Captain America. You'll see Sheldon Moldoff get a bodega in there. Dick Sprang was a famous Batman artist. If you think of like the 1960s style Batman,
Okay.
you're picturing like the more squat, smiley Batman. He influenced, generations of Bat artists. And then Roger Stern, a wonderful writer. He's known for a ton of work. I think Andy was talking before about, his Hobgoblin run. But also Roger Stern, who suggested the epilogue, worked with John Byrne on their Captain America run. But yeah, Byrne's pulling from influences from all over the place, with love and respect in this one. So when you see those names, that's just a creator that's helped pave the way.
Okay. Now, also, Chad and Andy, did this come before or after that terrible Marvel versus DC Captain America and Batman became like an amalgamation?
The amalgam, I think this was after. I mean, this was still while they were playing nice with each other. And in fact, one of the things that I want to throw out there is this comic book up until recently was a little bit hard to get their hands on because, again, it's all of those crossovers with Marvel and DC are a little bit tough because the collectors like those because they're less often reprinted. But for those folks that are going to be purchasing that Marvel DC crossover omnibus that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks, the story is included.
And then you'll have the amalgam crossover or omnibus, which has all those amalgam, which you may want to skip.
That's actually, when you guys said that we're going to be reading this, that's the first thing I thought of because I did read that back in the day. I read the whole battle and then the issues afterwards where they're in the sewers for long periods of time. And I don't understand why. And it was all bad. I'm sorry.
No, it was a neat idea. They did the whole fan vote thing for who would win certain fights. But this was actually released in that same time period where Marvel and DC were doing a ton of crossovers. And John Byrne did one of the amalgam books combining Storm and Wonder Woman. I want to say it was called Amazon.
Right. So what happened in Batman and Captain America by John Byrne, Ethan?
Well, it's set in the 40s, I think, 1945, right at almost the end of World War II. A Joker has been hired by a questionable, shadowy figure to help steal an atomic bomb. Captain America is sent back to the U.S. to figure out what's going on. He stops that person, and they think Bruce Wayne is an accomplice of the Joker. The U.S. government is stupid, apparently. Eventually, they figure out who they are each other, and then the Red Skull is involved. Joker has a hero redemption arc for no reason, and and they stop the atomic bomb and go on with their happy lives. So,
right. I might be a bad guy, but I'm an American bad guy. I mean, that's straight up stolen from the Rocketeer movie.
Oh yes, you know what? I didn't think of it at the time. It was corny and cliche, but you're absolutely right. It is Paul Sorvino delivers that awesome line. Also, another comic book we covered on the last comic shop. Go listen to our.
You guys are
review.
burying the lead. Batman and Captain America dropped the atomic bomb. I don't know who they blew up or where they blew it up.
They're just getting in practice. Didn't Batman drop the bomb again when he flew out and pretended to kill himself in the Bane movie?
Yeah, there you go.
No, the real lead is, I think, to Ethan's point, the fact that like Joker has a redemption arc and ends up being the good guy. Ultimately, Joker's the real hero. Like, Joker wins. Like, he's the guy that ends up stopping the Red Skull. But you know what? It actually kind of makes sense. I think I've commented on previous episodes of the last comic shop that my favorite type of Joker is not like the anarchist, crazy Joker. I like the gangster Joker, like a psychopath, right? But he's also like very crafty and comes up with his own schemes. And I don't know, he fits in that like kind of golden age mold of a lot of criminals. So like, it kind of makes sense in some ways that he would be like, hey, don't step on the United States of America. Hey!
But he's a serial killer. If he knew what the atomic bomb was, he'd get the biggest hard-on ever. Come on, man. Like,
not unless he got to pump some Joker gas in there, some Joker venom to make everybody smile as they were incinerated.
That's probably the thing that turned me off the most about this book. I love this book. Otherwise, I think it was very charming in a lot of parts. I like that the fact that they went back to the 1940s and set the story, though. A lot of questions still remain, like why wasn't Robin drafted in the war? Because I guess he had money.
He lost his parents in the circus. Isn't that enough? Leave the poor boy alone.
I don't know. J.A., you're a huge fan of Batman. Is this the kind of Batman that you like? I mean, this 40s version?
Story-wise, it was all right. I really struggled with the art because it's John Byrne, and I see John Byrne, and I'm instantly transported to Bronze Age comic books. And this is not... It was jarring. The story's set in World War II, but everything else looked like it was from the 70s.
See, I don't know. I'm going to argue here for Byrne because his Batman is definitely not a 70s Batman. It's the 50s Batman. It's the Dick Sprang Batman. Byrne's Captain America is the 1980s Captain America.
Yes. I mean, we say Captain America's a man out of time. I thought this comic book is a comic book out of time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why this was the perfect comic book to team up with our soda bracket, because this book, it's saccharine. It's just sugar sweet. It's meant to be there as that nice tip of the cap to the nostalgia. Setting Captain America and Batman, back in World War II and having the story play out that way. And then you get that awesome epilogue.
Yes.
Where it's the son of Batman and Dick Grayson has assumed the role and they're discovering Captain America coming out of the ice. And like, I don't know. There's just so much of this. It's sweet is what it is. It's sweet in the kindest word. Even the Joker isn't a bad guy in this. He's like, yeah, I'm American. He's not the malicious, ruthless killer. I mean, the Red Skull is, but he's a Nazi, and they're bad.
The ultimate evil. Yeah, they are terrible.
Yeah,
remember, kids,
bad.
Nazis are bad.
Nazis are bad.
I agree with you, Chad. I thought this was candy, and I ate it up. I would have loved to seen an entire series with Captain America and Batman. I would have loved to seen like what happens after they get Captain America out of the ice, and does he join like whatever group is going on now? I love the fact that anytime they allow Batman to pass the mantle on, for anybody that knows me, I really do love that nostalgia. I love that escapism that you sometimes get with comics. This was as cartoony as a comic book can get. I don't know, like people use the word kid friendly, right? I didn't think this was really kid friendly. I think this was all ages, but all ages in the good sense of the word. Like anybody can read this. Anybody can enjoy this.
And if you're the type of person that's going to be excited about Captain America talking to Sergeant Rock, this is the book for you.
That's true.
You know, he meets up with Easy Company. How cool was that?
Great book for the 4th of July. Like, it makes you feel very patriotic. And honestly, like, I didn't know that this was released in 1996. It felt like a throwback, like somebody trying to write something in, like, I don't know, 2018 that aped the 40s. Because just a lot of the stuff obviously is pertinent now. I mean, you compare this to like A Secret Empire where, you know, he becomes a freaking Nazi. And then you look at this and it's like the most anti-Nazi thing that you can possibly read. It's a great, you know, message to continue that we said Nazis are the worst enemy out there. So it's a good reminder to people. And I think that it's good that we're reading it. And I think it's important for people to read this and remember, because a lot of these memories are fading, unfortunately. A lot of these stories like about World War II and things like that are starting to fade from consciousness. And I think anything that we can do to bring back anything that reminds us of that era, I think it's good. And it's timely, I will say.
Yeah, I like the good guys are good, the bad guys are bad. And it's simple and breezy, and it is what it is. And I will say, too, when it comes to John Byrne, if anybody tells you that John Byrne and Chris Claremont's X-Men are not the best of comics, they're either a fool or a liar or both.
Right.
Like John Byrne, Terry Austin, Chris Claremont, those comics on X-Men are wonderful. And even through John Byrne's work on Superman at DC in the 80s, like John Byrne was the thing. But there was some point in the 90s when John Byrne, I don't know if it was him taking over more of control of his own work or whatever, there were just certain tastes about it that weren't as appealing to me. And so like any John Byrne post 1992, I'm like, it's okay. This is 1996 John Byrne, but it was good. It was fun. It was joyful. So I'm glad it's out there. This is something that I could have easily skipped over and not picked up. And I'm happy that I did, because it's nice to have some more modern John Byrne stuff. They're like, no, he still had something in the tank. It's just that tank was a 1945 terror tank rolling down the...
That was cool.
Oh, wait. How about Captain America jumping out of the airplane, but he has to wear his shield on his back so he can't have a parachute? I was like, what?
He needs his hands, man. He needs his hands.
It's great. It's just, I mean, I did struggle sort of with the juxtaposition in the art, but I love those, like that terror tank. That was a great, with the massive swastika. It's just one of those. I could see that terror tank like in the back matter of a comic book where they would show you all the different, like the cutaway version.
Yeah, no, that's a DC staple, the terror tank. And so to see it pop up here, like good old Nazi punching fun.
And actually, the full panel of the terror tank actually reminded me a lot of like a manga art, where they like did this huge amount of detail in one panel, where you could see like all the intricate gears and stuff. So I thought that was really cool.
All right. Well, we've got to get to ratings of Batman Captain America, as well as recommendations to finish off our 4th of July spectacular. So stay tuned for more Last Comic Shop right after this.
We're all familiar with the Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, and Modern Age of comics, but we can't still be in the Modern Age after almost 4 decades, can we?
We don't think so. And that's why we started the Iron Age of Comics, a critical re-evaluation of comic books from about 1985 to 2000.
On this podcast, we go beyond the chromium covers and the grim and gritty cliches, and take a deep dive into one of the most vibrant but divisive periods in comics history.
That's the Iron Age of Comics, with new episodes every first and third Wednesdays of the month. And look for us on social media, where the handle is Iron Age of Comics.
All right, we're back with more of The Last Comic Shop, and it is now time for our ratings, where we don't prove that we have a rocket in our pockets. We all let those rockets off. They're over there. Look at them. They're beautiful. Yeah, that's how we blow all of our cash here at The Last Comic Shop. These fireworks spectaculars. Yeah.
Say, what the heck are you talking about? Let's just
you know what I'm talking
cue
about.
the music. Ah.
Okay, we got a 1 out of 4 scale for Batman and Captain America, which again, if you like this show, I mean, go back in our archives. We've got tons of these DC Marvel crossovers, including like Batman, Incredible Hulk, and Superman, Spider-Man. They're all available and evergreened. But J.A., what do we got for this team up?
1 out of 4 atomic bombs. We're gonna drop a bomb on it.
Where did they drop that bomb?
The same place it got dropped in the Bane movie. I'm telling you, the Chesapeake Bay or something, right? Because Gotham's in Jersey. So I guess
There's so many people.
Jersey Shore.
There. Yeah, the Jersey Shore. That place is toxic. Why not?
Oh, jeez. Oh, apologies to our Jersey listeners, both of them.
Any case, we're going to start off with J.A. because I think he was, I'm not going to say the most critical because it seemed like he liked this book, but still, he might give the lowest grade. J.A., what did you think?
It was fun. It was a wholesome read. It was very sweet, almost too sweet, maybe at times. The art threw me a bit, and maybe that's just my thing, having grown up with Claremont Burns' X-Men, because his art style is so recognizable. When I see John Byrne's art, I'm either thinking about 80s Superman or 70s X-Men, and not 40s Captain America by way of the 80s.
It's Elseworlds, baby. All the rules are off.
Apparently, all the rules are off.
These are the types of comic books my parents thought I was reading when I was 10 years old. Instead of like, is that Elektra's boob?
Yeah, so I guess I'll give it a 3. 3 atomic bombs. It was fun. There was a lot of stupid stuff. I don't know if that was by design. We mentioned Captain America jumping out the airplane and explaining for a couple of panels why he couldn't have a parachute to have his shield on his back because he needed both hands.
What about the panel where Captain America and Batman simultaneously grab guys by their butts and smash their faces together back to back?
Yes.
That was pretty dumb, but also kind of fun.
That's some bro love right there.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, the fact that Bucky and Robin were so interchangeable that they switched their partners for half of the book, and it didn't make a lick of difference. They did exactly the same thing. It sounds like I'm being hypercritical, and I'm not, because it's a fun book, but it's a 3.
I'm going to come to this book's defense. I might say that this is probably the best Captain America book we've done on The Last Comic Shop during these Captain America shows.
You would be wrong, sir. You would be wrong.
Come on. This is like a 3.95. It is not a 4 because I could not put it in the same category as like Watchmen. But boy, this is the comic book that reminds me why I like comic books. It is so saccharine sweet, but so filled with escapism. It takes me back to just being like a 10-year-old kid sitting there, drinking one of my soft drinks, reading a comic book, watching good guys punch bad guys, meat steaks, giant war tanks, all kinds of great stuff. Plus, man, that epilogue. Roger Stern should be given an award just for helping John Byrne come up with that idea. Because the fact that like Bruce Wayne Jr. and Dick Grayson find Captain America on the ice and free him, man, that just sings. It makes me want to read even more. So yeah, it's like a 3.95. It is a great comic book. Lots of fun. Looking forward to it when I finally get this omnibus in a couple weeks.
Wait, better than Brubaker Cap?
Yeah, I did. I told you that there were parts of Brubaker Cap I wasn't a huge fan of. You know that.
Better than Secret Empire?
Much better than Secret Empire. Ethan.
Come on, man. That's a cheap shot to my boy, Secret Empire. And Nick Spencer's my man. But anyways, yeah, it's probably one of the better, I would say, Captain America books that we read. I wouldn't say it was the best. And also, if you're a fan of women, do not read this book because there's like 2 of them in the entire episode. It definitely does not pass that test. One woman doesn't talk to another one at any point in the whole book. So for me, it's kind of echo what J.A. said. It's a 3. Don't think about it too much. Definitely don't think about the Joker redemption arc, which was a horrible idea. And that he was ultimately the one that saves both Batman, Captain America, the United States, and, questionably the world. Mass murderer stops a weapon of mass destruction from being dropped on Washington, D.C. Not plausible in the least. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I could consider giving this a higher grade, but they killed New Jersey. Batman and Captain America, they just walk free. How could Commissioner Gordon let this happen? No, this book is what it is in the best way. It's fun, it's frivolous. It's not meant to be taken seriously, but at the same time, it's a sweet homage to the people that came before it. So I'm going to go 3.01. It's slightly better than a 3, but not much. It's still 90s John Byrne. No, it was fine. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's not the best of comics, but as a nice can of soda out of the back of Andy's grandma's car.
All right. My poor grandma. In any case, we've got recommendations and we've got to make it fast because we're running out of time on this week's show. So here's other books that you can pick up in addition to Batman, Captain America, which again, you can possibly find. Maybe they'll bring it down in price now that they're going to be reprinting it. Or again, you can get it in that sweet omnibus. Can't say enough good things about that omnibus. Man, I am so stoked. I don't think I've been this stoked about a comic book in years. I'm going to buy that first day. Any case, other books you may want to buy first day include J.A.'s pick, which is...
Yeah, I'm going back to the Golden Age with Golden Age Captain America Omnibus Volume 1. This collects the first 12 issues of Captain America comics by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby on the first 10 issues with a beautiful, really beautiful cover by Lee Weeks. So if you want proper Golden Age Captain America, that's the one you go with.
There you go. Go punch some Nazis, kids.
Chad?
All right, so mine, I'm going to go slightly forward in time. I'm going to go with the Epic Collection. It's Volume 9 for Captain America. It is called Dawn's Early Light. So it contains the 9-issue run by Roger Stern and John Byrne that was cut short on Captain America, where you get Batroc the Leaper, you get vampires, Captain America runs for president. It's one of those things where Roger Stern understands the essence of Captain America. He sees the hopefulness, but also is able to add a little bit more nuance than you would get out of the story we read today. And the back half of this epic collection contains some of the J.M. DeMatteis and Mike Zeck Captain America stories, which are also a treat. And so if you can find it out there, the collection is called Dawn's Early Light. It actually contains issues 247 through 266. Which I think the first 9 of those are the Stern Byrne. But yeah, it is definitely worth your time.
Oh, I love that. Stern Byrne. I got to get that on a t-shirt. Like Stern Byrne 24. Yeah, that was pretty good. No, and I can't disagree with that recommendation, Chad, because I love that Roger Stern, John Byrne run. He fights Machine Smith in one of the issues, which is awesome. John Byrne draws Machine Smith like every other John Byrne bad guy, slightly bald, weird hair thing going on, but also giant robots. Great stuff. And he becomes an artist again, which is super cool. Any case, my recommendation goes along with the summertime. And what is one thing you think about with summertime but Hollywood blockbusters? And one of those blockbusters that we never got to see on the big screen, but you can get in comic book form, is another crossover that happened with Batman, and that is Batman Predator. That's right. Batman Predator is awesome, especially the first one with Dave Gibbons writing and the Kubrick brothers, Adam and Andy, on art. Again, it's nothing more than the Predator comes to Gotham and just starts killing everybody, and Batman has to put on a super suit of armor and beat the tar out of him. But you get that Batman, you give him time and he'll beat anybody, right? Like usually I really frown on the Batman plus time equals win thing. But in this particular story, it works. And it works in spades, and it worked enough for them to put out a sequel to this. Dark Horse and DC did, as well as a third chapter. And you can get it all in one big collection, all three of the crossovers. But really, if you can only find one, read the original, Batman Predator. It's super neat. Ethan, wrap us up.
All right. My recommendation is going to be a little bit out of left field, so I apologize for that. But when you think summer, you got to think summer vacation. And when you think summer vacation, you think the classic arcades of the 80s and 90s that we grew up in. And so what I'm going to recommend is these books by Hardcore Gaming 101. This is volume 1 and this is volume 2, The Guide to Shoot 'em Ups. So any of your Shump fans, if you 1cc any games in your past, pick up these books. The volume 1 deals with all the ones that you've heard of, like R-Type and all these cool shooting games, Blazing Lasers and Thunder Force, games I've never even heard of are in here. And then if you want even more games that you've never heard of or just played at the casually, pick up volume 2 and read this. I probably read these books 6 or 7 times over, but they are my go-to comfort reading, which is exactly what you want in the summer. So if you're a fan of video games, if you're a fan of classic arcade games, I recommend these for anybody.
Is Galaga in there?
It's not that old. So.
So those are my shumps.
Yeah, see,
those are my shumps, baby.
They do have Zexivus.
I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but I have played that game.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Any case, one thing that doesn't suck is more of the last comic shop. We hope that you enjoyed our last soda shop challenge. We hope that you get out to our social media this week and vote on the eventual winner. Are you going to vote for Red Cherry Soda? That should be the winner. I don't even know, because it kind of trumps Coke.
Yeah, but it's
no, it doesn't.
Coke because of Coke.
Because you
Coke
add
is the base.
to Coke, and then it's better.
But it's not soda you're adding to Coke. You're adding syrup. So you're saying that it's an ingredient of the other one, but the other one is the base. I'm sorry, you can't.
I would dare say vanilla syrup superior to cherry syrup.
That didn't even make the tournament. Any case, make sure that you're voting and make sure that you're listening to other of our past tournaments, whether that's the last chicken shop, whether that's the last burger shop. We had a tournament about the best barbarians in pop culture. We had one about the best Halloween candies. All available out at www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com. Just find those episodes. Listen to them. They're evergreen and awesome.
And you might learn something. Kit Kats in coffee.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. And so while we might be the last comic shop podcast, we don't want to be the last comic shop out there. So we encourage everybody to get out to those comic shops near you where you could find potentially Batman and Captain America, or maybe you're holding out for those new Marvel and DC omnibuses, the amalgam version or the crossover version. All those are going to be wonderful. Or you can go with our recommendations this week. We had the Golden Age Captain America by Kirby and Simon. We had Captain America, the Epic Collection, Dawn's Early Light. We had Batman Predator, the first one by Dave Gibbons and the Kuberts. And then finally, we had The Guide to Shoot 'em Ups.
Volume 1 and Volume 2 by Hardcore Gaming 101. I don't think you're going to find this at your local comic book store unless they're really cool.
There you go. Relive some classic games and games that I hadn't heard of. But anyway, and then you can circle back to our website, www.lastcomicshoppodcast, where they can find what else, J.A.?
Oh, we've got a link to our merch store. T-shirts, tote bags, coffee mugs, and this week only parachutes. Don't jump out of an airplane with a shield on your back, kids. Wear a parachute.
Plus, we've got that awesome Last Comic Shop Summer Edition, right? Summer's still going on, even though a lot of people think after the 4th of July, summer's just downhill.
Yeah, go neon, baby. Go neon.
Yeah, and Andy and J.A., what do you think about a limited edition Last Soda Shop shirt, like our last burger shop and chicken shop? Limited edition, so we only have it out.
Put it out, J.A. We have the logo. You did a great job of it. Might look good on a t-shirt or a coffee mug.
And you know what? Smash, boom, pow, that 5-star review. Can't even believe Last Chicken Shop was 2 years ago now. been a lot of fun, and I just can't wait to do whatever the next one, Last Pizza Shop, or whatever we decide.
Oh, pizza's a good one.
Yeah. That's so regional, though. Man, that's going to be tough. Any case, one thing that we hope is not tough is coming back to the Last Comic Shop. Until next week, we'll have more awesome episodes for you. I was the host with the most, Andy Larson. I was joined by Chad Smith, J.A. Scott, and the bombastic Ethan Larson. And we hope that you stay safe, stay celebrating. That's right. Find a cookout, drink some soda drinks, and remember that punching Nazis, always a good choice.
The Last Comic Shop podcast was a 2024 Black Angus production.